Okay, imagine this for a sec. You've got a monk way up high in this ancient monastery in Greece, Moni Agia Triada. But instead of, quiet contemplation, he's just falling,
Right.
plummeting to his death, a scream, gone. It's pretty brutal. But it's also kind of the perfect image to get us into the world we're exploring today.
It really is. It sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? That blend of history, mystery, sudden violence, it just grabs you immediately, hints at these ancient secrets crashing into the modern world. That's pure Chris Kuzneski.
Exactly. So welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This is where we dig into a whole pile of sources. Could be articles, books, research, even our own notes sometimes, and we pull out the key stuff for you. Today, we're diving into the world of Chris Kuzneski, focusing specifically on his novel, The Plantation. We've got excerpts from the book, the author's own notes, which are fascinating, and some context from his other work, too. Our mission, basically, is to figure out where this story came from, meet the characters' unforgettable ones, really break down this intense plot of revenge and betrayal, and also talk about its really surprising publishing journey.
Yeah, that journey is almost a story in itself. I mean, this isn't just your average thriller. Critics loved it, right? They talked about the action, sex, suspense, humor, and great characters. Some even compared its raw power to early Stephen King. But the fascinating part, how it almost didn't happen. It got rejected initially because editors thought the plot was, get this, maybe too original. They literally said they weren't sure how to market it.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Too original in a field that, supposedly thrives on new ideas. But Kuzneski, he didn't just pack it in. He went for it. Self-publishing with iUniverse. This was back when print-on-demand was pretty new tech. He was literally, as he put it, selling copies out of the trunk of my car. And that grassroots effort, that hustle, eventually got noticed by huge names like James Patterson. It really turned things around. It's an amazing start for the book, really.
That whole too original thing and him going the print-on-demand route, that was huge. Not just for him, print-on-demand, it kind of blew the doors open for a lot of authors. It let people whose work maybe didn't fit neatly into a box like Kuzneski's get their stuff out there. He basically had to become an entrepreneur, not just a writer. It really shaped how his whole Payne and Jones universe developed.
And the next move was just as gutsy, wasn't it? Sending his self-published book to his favorite authors, just mailing it off. And the incredible thing is, many of them actually read it and gave him positive feedback. Imagine getting that validation after all the rejections.
Yeah, it just showed the story itself had this power, this pull that the industry maybe couldn't see at first. A good story finds its way, right?
Totally. So, okay, The Plantation, even with its rocky start, it sort of lays the groundwork for everything else.
Exactly. Its success, even before a big publisher got involved, helped launch Sign of the Cross internationally. That one really tapped into the whole Da Vinci Code vibe at the time. Then came Sword of God, another bestseller. Now, technically, Sword of God was book 3 with Payne and Jones for Kuzneski. But for most readers, it felt like book 2, because The Plantation wasn't widely available yet. So The Plantation has this kind of legendary, origin story status within the series.
Okay, let's get into that world then. Meet the key players. First, Jonathan Payne. He used to lead this super elite unit, the Maniacs. And that name, Maniacs, it stands for Marines, Army, Navy, Intelligence, Air Force, Coast Guard, all the branches, basically.
Right, the best of the best.
Yeah. Now, though, he's CEO of Payne Industries. Rich guy. But interestingly, he uses the company more for, charity work than actual business deals. He kind of leaves the business stuff to his MBA team.
And in his old life, he was the finisher, right? The guy who got the job done, known for this really dry, kind of dark sense of humor.
Totally. And then you've got his best friend, David Jones, or DJ.
D.J. Payne's right-hand man, former lieutenant at the Maniacs with him.
Yep. DJ's the navigator, the strategy prodigy, came out of the Air Force Academy. Payne actually bankrolled DJ's private investigation firm. Shows you how tight they are.
They share that same black humor, don't they? You can tell it's how they cope with the intense stuff they've been through. Their dynamic is really the core of the series. Lethal, but also really human.
And rounding out the main trio, at least initially, is Ariane Walker. She's Payne's girlfriend, 28, works as a VP at a bank in Pittsburgh.
Right, and there's that cute little anecdote about where they grew up, isn't there?
Yeah. Apparently they got teased because one's from Moon Township and the other from Mars, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So they always joke their relationship was out of this world. It's a nice touch, makes them feel real before things get incredibly dark.
And they do get dark fast. Okay, let's talk about the villains, the architects of the Plantation. Seriously chilling group. First, Theo Webster, he's the mastermind, the brains behind it all. And his motivation? Pure revenge. Deep-seated, historical revenge. He actually traced his family tree all the way back to the specific plantation, the place his ancestors were enslaved.
Okay.
Yeah. And his initial goal wasn't even money. It was this horrifying reenactment, a form of twisted justice in his eyes. He's not just a bad guy. He embodies the lasting trauma of history.
That's intense. Then there's the muscle, Octavian Holmes.
Octavian Holmes, yeah, ex-mercenary, hired for his military skills and, frankly, his brutality. He's got a background in guerrilla warfare, jungle tactics, and the book notes, chillingly, that the whole idea of slavery always fascinated him. Just adds another layer of disturbing.
Quite good. And Harris Jackson.
Harris Jackson, yeah. His story is different. He was Webster's college roommate. Apparently, he was a really promising lawyer compared to Wesley Snipes even. But his career imploded after a scandal involving a minor who happened to be LaVon Green's agent. So his motivation is personal vendetta. The source material specifically mentions a grudge against white women. It makes the group's psychology really complex and pretty unsettling.
Jeez. And the last one, Hakim Njai.
Hakim Njai. He's the overseer on the plantation from Cameroon. Described as unmerciful. Used to work on a cacao plantation, apparently had this unwavering toughness that Webster found a horrifying new use for. Njai's the one who designed the devil's box, that torture device.
Oh, man.
What's striking is how specific their reasons are, Webster's historical quest, Jackson's personal score settling, Holmes's fascination. They're not cardboard cutouts. They're terrifying because they feel, in a twisted way, human.
Okay, so these are the guys behind it, and it all kicks off how?
OIM. Yeah, it starts violently. Ariane's kidnapped from her apartment in Pittsburgh. The first clues Payne and Jones find are almost mundane, which makes it creepier. Duct tape over the peek hole, the lock messed with, a muffled scream caught on a security tape. And then there's this neighbor, Mr. McNally, who saw something. Maybe. Says, guys dragged her to their van, mentioned Louisiana plates, but he seems a bit unreliable.
So not much to go on initially. Duct tape, a maybe scream. I mean, how do Payne and Jones even start with that? They're elite guys, but still.
Well, that's where DJ's particular genius comes in, host. It's not about muscle yet, it's observation. He meticulously goes through that surveillance footage, looking for the tiny detail everyone else would miss. And he finds it. On a gloved hand, there's this distinctive tattoo, a Pete, with a sword, blood drops, broken chains. He recognizes it instantly. Hall Attack Gang emblem? Boom. That single clue points them directly south, Louisiana. It shows how one small thing can crack a whole case open.
Gotcha. So Louisiana it is. They head straight into the Bayou country. Arrive in New Orleans, a city still really marked by Katrina, right? You've got the tourist spots back up, but other areas still devastated. It's a city of contrasts.
Fits the story perfectly.
And Payne, he reaches out to an old contact, LaVon Green, former NFL linebacker, the Buffalo Soldier. Career ended by injury. Using those personal connections again.
Right. And Green uses his connections, introduces them to a guy named Terrell Murray. Murray sounds respectable, deals in antiques, but he's also deep in the city's underbelly strip clubs, gambling. He's the one who points them towards Jamaican Sam, the tattoo artist.
Okay, following the ink.
Exactly. This whole network, legit and shady, it's classic thriller stuff, shows how far they have to dig.
And at Sam's tattoos, things get complicated fast. Sam identifies the tattoo, says it belongs to Africans, not African Americans, he specifies that, from a gang called the Posse.
But just as he's about to say more.
Sniper. Takes him out.
Yep. Payne and Jones get picked up by the cops, then released. But LaVon Green, he pulls off this Houdini act during the sniper attack, escapes through a secret passage he claims was part of the Underground Railroad, which is interesting. Suddenly he knows all about secret passages.
Yeah, that sounds fishy. His actions start looking really ambiguous right about then.
Totally. That ambush is a big turning point. Shows how ruthless these guys are, and it casts major suspicion on Green. Suddenly, it's not just a kidnapping. They're tangled up with something way bigger, way more dangerous. The stakes just jumped way, way up.
And the next reveal is, wow, the truth about the plantation itself. We find out about Benny Blount. He seemed like this kind of slow country guy, gold teeth, easy manner.
Right, the dim-witted worker act.
Yeah, turns out he's a brilliant double agent. He was playing a role, the source calls it a Beckwith act, to get inside. And then the kicker, he reveals he's Ariane's cousin, distant cousin. His family, the Delacroix family, has history tied to that very land.
It's an incredible twist. Makes him instantly central to the whole thing. Connects the past and present right there.
And what he confirms about the plantation's purpose,
yeah,
it's just horrifying.
It is. He confirms it's a secret jail, but the twist, all the prisoners are white and all the workers are black. The posse gang had apparently been, practicing on homeless people, but this group, Ariane's group, they were chosen specifically for Theo Webster's revenge plot.
Wow.
It's audacious storytelling, isn't it? By flipping the script on historical slavery like that, Kuzneski forces you, the reader, to confront that legacy in a really uncomfortable way. It's not just shock value. It makes you think about power, cruelty, history. It elevates the whole thing beyond just action.
And it's not just about revenge, it's a business.
A sickening one, yeah. A reverse slave trade. Webster, Holmes, and Jackson teamed up with international partners. Hannibal Cotto, a Nigerian businessman in diamond mines, and Edwin Drake, an Englishman based in Johannesburg. The plan was to sell white captives to wealthy Africans as status symbols or concubines, mirroring history, but flipped.
Deeply disturbing.
It really is,
Yeah.
and the book doesn't shy away from the brutality inside. N.J.'s Devil's Box. Payne himself ends up in it. Dehydration, hunger, cramps. You also see another prisoner, Nathan, an NFL player dealing with fire ants, a giant rat, Robert Edwards, and his pregnant wife, Tanya. She has to reset his broken leg herself. The cruelty is specific, designed to echo historical suffering. Putting Payne through it makes the horror immediate, visceral.
Okay, so putting Payne in the devil's box.
Yeah.
That's intense. Why do that? Why make the hero suffer so directly?
Well, I think it really grounds the stakes, We experience the horror with him. It makes his fight personal, not just professional. His escape, his drive for revenge later, it feels earned because you know what he went through. It shows his resilience, his absolute refusal to break. It connects him deeply to the other victims, too.
Right, okay. And he does get out. Ingeniously, apparently, using tricks from an escape artist.
Yeah, Slippery Stan, the book calls him, plus some help from Benny, who's still undercover. Payne gets out, raids the armory, and that's when he finds out Terrell Murray, the guy who supposedly helped them in New Orleans, was actually supplying the weapons to the plantation.
Another betrayal.
Exactly. It reinforces this idea that the conspiracy is everywhere, hiding in plain sight. So now Payne and Jones, they're armed, they have Benny guiding them, they switch back into maniacs mode. They launch this military-style infiltration, explosions for diversion, ambushing guards, classic stuff. But the speed, the desperation, it shows how much saving Ariane means to Payne.
And this is where Levon Green's full involvement comes out, really.
Oh, yeah. Green, Holmes, Webster, they were the core antagonists all along. Green even tries to double-cross the other two. Sets off explosives in the plantation house. Big diversion, trying to make his own getaway. It's pure ruthlessness.
Which leads to the chase. Through the bayou.
A massive, brutal chase scene. Holmes is driving this truck with Ariane and another captive, Susan. Payne, Jones, Benny are on ATVs after them. It gets really nasty. Holmes uses this attack dog, Tornado, Amazon hound. It messes Benny up, badly severed tongue, head injury. Jones crashes.
Oh, man.
Payne makes this desperate leap onto the truck, fights Holmes. Holmes slams the brakes, throws Payne off, tries to run him down. It's pure chaos, incredibly high-stakes action, shows how far Holmes will go.
And even after all that chaos, it's not over.
Yeah.
The local cops, Captain Dawson, they reveal something chilling.
Right. That slave boat, Payne thought they'd stopped. The one Holmes was piloting, never found. A lot of the captives, including Robert Edwards, are just gone, missing, which confirms this isn't just local anymore, it's international.
So the scale just keeps expanding.
Exactly. It confirms the global reach of this reverse slave trade. So Payne and Jones, they regroup with more maniacs. Lieutenant Shell Rocky gets mentioned, and they track the main players, Cotto, Drake, Holmes, Green, all the way to Ibadan, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah. They plan this infiltration of Cotto's distribution center. And Kuzneski uses this great detail. They use the timing of the local Muezzin's call to prayer as their signal to attack, adds this layer of realism to the planning.
And the final confrontation. It's intense.
Absolutely explosive. Maniacs training put to the ultimate test. They corner Green, Holmes, the remaining guards. Green, true to form, tries another escape. Hidden tunnel, not on any blueprints. Tries to grab more slaves on his way out. And Payne faces this absolutely gut-wrenching choice. Blow the house to stop Green and Holmes for good, but Ariane might still be inside.
Oh, God.
He makes the commander's call, prioritize the mission, his men, orders them to clear the house. It's a hell of a moment, showing the burden of leadership.
Do they get Green?
They do. The maniacs overwhelm them. Payne and Jones take down Green in a hail of gunfire.
Right.
But the revenge, it gets even more personal. Remember Nate Barker, the NFL player who was in the Devil's Box, the one whose career Green originally ended? He emerges, looking like death warmed over, straight from captivity. And he gets his own revenge on Green. Brutal. Anchors his foot right on Green's bad knee, mirroring his own injury.
Wow. Poetic justice, almost. Horrifying, but poetic.
Exactly. It brings that personal cost right back to the forefront. Amidst all this, though,
Ariane.
Payne finds her. She's alive. Battered, broken jaw, but alive. That reunion after everything.
Yeah.
It's powerful. A moment to breathe.
Okay, so main crisis averted, but there are loose ends, right?
Definitely. Benny Blount, the hero agent. Payne sets him up. Top-tier plastic surgery. Jones jokes about making him look like Denzel or giving him D cups.
Ah, classic Jones.
Right. But seriously, full financial support, chance to live with Ariane, his newly found cousin, a new life, it's a nice touch of hope, found family.
But the missing captives, the boat.
Still missing. Robert Edwards, the others. Their fate is unknown. That hangs there. We do learn Holmes did get 12 slaves to Mexico, to Drake's property, heading for Africa, so the network wasn't entirely stopped. And then there's Webster. Critically injured, he whispers something to Payne. Just 2 words. Pot.
Pot it. What does that even mean?
Exactly. It makes no sense at first. But later, Payne has this realization, this aha moment. It points him in a whole new direction. It's a classic Kuzneski cliffhanger, setting up the next chase.
That's his style, isn't it? Planting these little clues.
Totally. Pot is a perfect example. He seeds these odd details, these seemingly random phrases or objects, and they pay off later, sometimes books later. It rewards you for paying attention, makes the whole world feel connected. There's always another layer.
And to kind of illustrate that wider world, remember that monk we started with, falling from the monastery in Greece?
Moni Agia Triada. Ancient place. Monks as keepers of the book, intruders with swords. It hints at these deeper historical conspiracies that pop up in his other books.
And there's another one, right? That anecdote about Little St. Mary's.
Oh yeah, the fancy public restroom in Florida. Payne and Jones are just observing it. The legend is this guy, Henry Taylor, built it as revenge. Scaled-down church replica, but filled with toilets instead of pews, because the diocese stiffed him on payment.
That's hilarious and kind of dark.
Right. But you see the pattern, the plunging monk, the revenge bathroom, the paw hit clue. They all weave into this bigger picture. Mysteries, ancient secrets, elaborate revenge schemes, often with a dose of dark humor. It's all part of Kuzneski's signature style.
It really shows how these deep-seated motivations like revenge, personal or historical, can fuel these incredibly complex hidden plots, and how the past is never really past.
Exactly. Echoes everywhere.
So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway for you listening to this? We've seen the Plantation drag us through this intense ride. Personal revenge, global crime, these shocking parallels to history, all starting from a kidnapping in Pittsburgh. It really shows how tangled human motives can get, how they can drive people to do these incredibly elaborate, brutal things, twisting history into new nightmares.
Yeah, and it's more than just action, right? You get characters like Benny Blount with these really profound journeys. The lines between good and bad get blurred, constantly tested. It's just great storytelling. Hooks you, keeps you guessing, but also makes you think about big things, justice, revenge, survival.
So as you think about this world Kuzneski built, think about that phrase, pause. What seems totally random or meaningless in your own world, some little detail, could it be a clue? A key to something bigger you haven't seen yet. What secrets won't be hiding right there in front of us, just waiting for the dots to be connected, like Payne and Jones had to do to figure out the Plantation. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?